having coffee. Actually, it's coffee and iced tea with Cindy and Alisa. What question do you have for me?
Okay, Cindy.
Whoops.
How do we create consistency in our spiritual habits and practice?
All right. So that's a great question. So the question is, how do we create consistency in our spiritual practice? That's really kind of hard sometimes. And I think the first thing that I would say is remember why you're doing it, right? So to just like inconsistency in your gym, if you don't remember why you're going, you're not going to keep going. One of the things that I find is starting with gratitude, starting with remembering what your spiritual practice brings to you. That can be incredibly helpful. Then once you do that, once you remember why you're doing it, then I would pick maybe a time or a place. Maybe you have a little sacred corner. Maybe you have a room, if you're lucky, right? That you do some of your spiritual practice. I also say put it in your calendar. I have to do that with the gym. I have to put the gym in my calendar. So put it in your calendar, and but be realistic. Like I don't put 5 days a week in the gym because I'm not going to make that. But maybe for you and your lifestyle, that means 15 minutes on Saturday morning before the kids wake up, or maybe that means, 20 minutes or a half an hour before you go to bed one night a week. Or maybe you have a more relaxed lifestyle, and that means, 3 days a week you're going to do a meditation or something. What I find with consistency, though, the most important thing is to recognize that our minds are like little kids. At first, you may be able to sit, let's say you want to practice meditation. At first, you may be able to sit with that meditation for 30 seconds. And then, bravo, just like a little kid, you're like, what a great job, And let it alone. Let that be your practice for the day. And build up slowly. There's a beautiful Teresa of Avila has this beautiful way of looking at it. At first, when you want to water your garden, it's like you have to go to the well, you have to pump the put down the bucket. Remember, she was she was a long time ago. You had to put down the bucket, you had to roll the bucket up, and then go take it in water. That's kind of the spiritual practice. At first, you have to say, oh, I'm going to do my spiritual practice. Oh, all right, I have to make time, I have to get going, I have to get my whoopee cushion, whatever you feel like you need for your spiritual practice. But then what she says is eventually it's like we have an irrigation system, right? There's a river that's running right by our garden. We just have to go to the river and bring some water. And then as we get going, eventually God waters our garden. It just rains, and that's when our spiritual practice becomes so in tune with us that it happens automatically. Now, do we expect it to rain naturally? No, and I think that's part of the problem. We're just like, well, I'm just going to put my spiritual life on autopilot and let it go. I definitely recommend remember why you're doing it. Use gratitude as a spiritual practice, and then remember to schedule watering your garden.